Facebook, and there we are. Hello. We have a few attendees tonight, and my name is Jen. I'm a program director at MEI, the Medical Education Institute. Prior to that, I was a home training nurse for about 10 years. I would like to thank Fresenius tonight for sponsoring our webinar and for sponsoring Home Dialysis Central and having this whole thing be possible in the first place. I wanted to thank Christy really quickly for getting us all situated right there. And I would like to introduce our panelists. We have, well, not Todd. We have Tracy and we have Dawn. So Tracy, would you introduce yourself? Let us know why you're here. Tell us something about yourself.
My name is Tracy Donaldson, and I'm a dialysis patient, and I'm 56 years old, and I live in Abilene, Texas. And yeah, I'm on dialysis and enjoying it. And like I said earlier today, I'm living my best second life
I
and
wrote
having a
that
bit.
down. I wrote that down. We're going to get to that because I think that's a whole discussion we should have for people. How about you, Dawn? Where do you come from and what do you do?
My name is Dawn Perkins. I have done dialysis about 27 years. I'm currently, my position is home therapies program manager for 3 separate home therapy programs. I've been in dialysis a while. I have done all modalities. And
You're a
I'm very
lifer.
about patients going home. I think every patient deserves the chance to go home.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, so this topic today is about adjustment. And so we talk about this a lot on our Facebook group. We run the Home Dialysis Central Facebook group. And a lot of times we hear from patients who are at a point in time where they're transitioning, they're going from either hemo to a home modality or having some kind of change. And earlier when Tracy said that she's now living her second life, I totally want to hear how you arrived to that philosophy about all of this. How did you transition from whatever it was you were going through to something so, I don't know, I found that uplifting.
Um, well, I didn't even know anything was wrong until I was hospitalized and I was in ICU. And when I got out, that's when I realized they wanted me to see a kidney doctor. And then I started seeing my doctor and everything. And that's when I realized that something was wrong with my kidneys. But then after some time and everything, he asked me, what do I think about being on dialysis? And I said, no. I said, because dialysis to me meant death sentence. And what I mean by that is, I thought that I'm like, okay, I told my husband, well, I guess we have to talk to the kids. And I said, I'm get my boys together and we're just going to start rearranging, get my funeral ready. Because I thought that's what that meant, just a slow process to being buried. And my doctor said, no, that's not what that means. That means dialysis means giving you a chance to live. And then when he explained it to me and everything, then I was like, are you sure? And he was like, sure. Why do you think you're going to die? And I've always done home health. And I worked with a lady who was on dialysis. And then after a few months of her being on dialysis, she passed away. So in my mind, that's what led me to believe dialysis meant death. And then he told me, well, I want you to take this class and sit there, you and your husband, and listen, and then come back and let me know. Well, I went to see Dr. Al 3 months later, and he was like, so what do you think? I said, I didn't go. And he's like, I'm making it mandatory for you to go. He said, I'm putting your name back on the list. You need to show up. And I showed up, I listened, but I didn't hear them say anything about home therapy until the very end. And it was like probably not even a 5-minute conversation. So I still didn't know about home therapy. I'm still thinking, no. I looked at my husband. I don't like needles, don't want to deal with needles. I'm not doing this. We're just going to let it play itself out. And I went back to Dr. Al and I let him know, no, I'm not doing this. I don't like needles. I'm scared of needles and everything. And he was like, but I have a solution to that. And then that's when he started introducing me and talking to me about home therapy. He said, it's a machine. You take it home. You do it at home. It doesn't involve no needles. And I'm like, okay, tell me more about this. And we talked and talked and talked. And he said, go home and think about it. And I went home and thought about it. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to give it a shot. And I gave it a shot and been happy ever since.
Wow. And how long have you been doing PD?
For about 4 or 5 years now.
That is awesome. That is really great. And you seem very well adjusted now. I mean, I was wondering, how was that your first day home versus your first year home in terms of your level of comfort with everything?
Well, first, I would say probably 2 months. It was hard. It was really, really hard. It was painful. I cried a lot. I stayed awake, didn't sleep at all, stayed up all night long, just sitting in the bed, crying, standing, walking, sitting, bending over, just trying to get rid of the pain. And then I figured out, well, let me try something. I think the pain is coming from draining. And I'm like, maybe because I'm not taking in fluid through the day. And that's why I'm in pain at night. So I realized once I started taking in fluid throughout the day, the pain just slowly just started going away, just going away. So I realized then, okay, because once that pain was there and I was crying, I told my husband, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm getting off of dialysis and we're just going to let this do what it needs to do because I'm not doing this. And then I cried and cried and cried. And I was like, I'm going to give it another shot. And I kept saying that over and over. And he was like, don't give up. Don't give up. You can do this. You got this. I never seen you give up on anything. And I was like, but then you don't understand the pain. You don't know what I'm going through and everything. And some nights he would sit up with me and everything. And like I said, then I realized I need to take in fluid. I'm not doing enough fluid during the day because even before dialysis, water wasn't something that I was doing a lot. Even when the doctor says you got to drink water, water is important. I still wasn't really doing it. Now I drink water faithfully. I
Wow.
definitely make sure I drink fluids throughout my day.
So as a nurse, I can tell you that most problems that patients have usually figured out the solution to, especially home dialysis patients. It's one of my favorite things about people who understand the treatment that they're getting. They tend to figure out how to troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
Dawn, have you noticed the same thing in your practice and in your nurse management? Do you find patients come to you and they're solving their own problems?
Well, I tell them to expect total chaos the first few weeks, the first 30 days, because that's actually what it is. It's new to them. They've just learned how to, whether they're doing manuals or cycler, they've just learned all of these new things. And everything that can happen wrong will go wrong. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's just a given.
It's the rule of the universe.
Absolutely. So I just encourage them, don't give up. Call me, call your on-call nurse. We try to make those weekly follow-up calls, that extra home visits. And usually after the 30-day mark, they've got it figured out.
And so what I usually used to tell people was that they need to clear the decks. Take everything off of your schedule that doesn't need to be on your schedule. Now is not the time to start a new hobby. Now
Right,
is a good time to go and focus on this one thing we have to learn how to do with rote memory really, really, really well. And then from there you start rebuilding your new normal. And I think that's what Tracy was saying in terms of getting her second life, your new life. And it's sort of, after the calm after that storm, you kind of have to come into a place where you're fitting, you're living your life. You have a treatment you have to do and you're fitting that in, but you're
Yes.
also doing the others. What would you say your biggest challenge has been in these years?
Oh goodness. My biggest challenge, I think, just really dealing with the fact that I was on dialysis. I think I got depressed. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't talk to anybody about it when I should have went and talked to, somebody, but I didn't. I just dealt with it. But that was my biggest challenge, just overcoming that and everything. I just thought that that was just the worst thing that could ever happen to me.
I
And
think
and
I
it
think it's great you're talking about it now. It's really important for you to state those feelings because I think everybody else is feeling that way too and has felt that way too. And it's okay to feel that way. It's normal to feel that way.
yeah, because I feel like, I'm on a machine and I got to live with this tube for the rest of my life. And I've already had low self-esteem anyway. So I felt like this tube and being on dialysis was just another way for me to look down on myself. And then I realized something about myself too. I had to pick myself up because nobody was going to do it for me. So I had to find myself. And like I said, I've never had self-esteem. But for some reason, I don't know what it is, being on dialysis gave me Tracy. So I told my husband, I said, you know what? I want to start going to the beauty shop to get my hair done. I want to start getting my nails done. I want to start shopping and buying some nice, pretty clothes. I want to start being somebody that I never was. I want to be a better me. So I started
Yes.
slowly getting confidence in myself. I'm not 100% there, but I'm better than where I was. And I have to tell myself, just because you're on dialysis doesn't mean you're going to be ugly for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean you're going to be fat forever. Do what you have to do to make you feel good because you're the only person that can make you feel good. So I started working out, jumping rope, exercising. I started telling myself every day, regardless of what anybody else thought, because I grew up with my mom telling me, "You're ugly, you're fat, you're worthless, you're never going to be this." But for some reason, I had to overcome that as well as being on dialysis. So I had to start lifting me up, and now I feel pretty good about myself. I
Tracy,
feel
you have a
good.
whole career in motivational speaking.
Oh
You
yeah.
you have you just launched
That is
it just
amazing.
now. It's spectacular. Your energy is so positive. You really I hope that the people listening are really hearing your positivity because you almost it's like you took a bad situation and you found yourself in it.
Yeah, and I had
And
to. I had to do that for myself. I did it for my boys and I did it for my grandkids. And that's another reason why I chose to be on dialysis is not only to live for me, I want to live with my boys. Because like I told them, I'm not ready to leave you and y'all not ready for me to go because I still got some teaching and learning to do for you guys. I said, y'all not ready to get rid of me because as much as y'all are grown, you're married, you got your own family, I still need to be mom. I still
yes,
got some you better not. I said so. And I got a lot of, I'm proud of you and everything in me to still give you. And they're not ready to say bye. And I'm not ready to say bye for them and my grandchildren. And of course, my husband as well, because those are my supporters. Those are
those are
my
some
biggest support.
reasons, those big reasons, good
Oh,
reasons,
yeah.
all of the best
Yeah.
reasons in the world, really,
Yes.
to keep on keeping on.
Yes.
Wow. Do you hear that a lot, Dawn? I hear this stuff a lot. It
I do
makes me
hear that a
love
lot
people
and I
more.
love it. It's so rewarding. When I was the home therapy nurse and doing all the trainings, it was so rewarding to me when the patient was successful. And, a few months later, they come into the clinic and they're telling me how much better they feel and thanking me. And I mean, it still just makes my hair
I
stand
know.
up, my
I
arms
know.
up. Yes, it's everything.
One of the things I say that happens, and it does happen, is when a patient truly gets a person, truly gets stable again, they come to the home nurse and their major complaint isn't about the dialysis. It's about something else.
Oh, yes.
It's some other, it's my neighbor is really loud. Or
Right,
it's
right.
and that's when you have gotten into
And
a
you're
good place.
thankful for those complaints
And
Right.
then you're thankful for
All day
those
long.
complaints because it's about anything other than that. And there really is. And that's why, you know, we're always trying to encourage people to try to work through these problems and stay on for, you know, give yourself that adjustment time because it can take a while, even in the most successful people, which I think is really interesting. How do you prepare? Do you have a ritual that you do every day, or do you just does it do you have like a daily
Well,
routine?
once I get off the machine in the morning, the first thing I do is break down the machine. Then I take my shower. Then I get my breakfast and take my medication and everything. And then from that moment, I just look around, and because I don't work, so I just look around the house and like, okay, what do I want to do today? And me and the dog might go outside, and I might exercise if the weather is good enough and everything. I play with the dog. And right now, I just finished painting my dining room and kitchen, and putting up cabinets and putting up new knobs and everything, and just got a brand new stove. Now I'm waiting on my refrigerator, dining room table, my curtains. And I told my husband those are the 2 rooms I'm starting with now. And when I finish those completely, then I'm going to break down my living room. I'm just enjoying redoing my home. We bought this house, and I was like, you know what? We've been here for a long time, and I've always treated it like it's a rental property. I said, you know what? I own this
I'm
house.
gonna move in
I
now.
need to get up and do my house. I've
Way to
already
be.
did. I'm working on the inside and the outside, and it's keeping me busy. And I'm just enjoying it. Before, I just sat around and did nothing. And now I'm doing that. I go to soccer games. I travel with my son to Dallas with my granddaughter because she plays soccer, and I do basketball. And I'm just now I get to go and do places. My aunt lives in Dallas, and my uncle came down for her 70th birthday party. I went and I partied, I danced, and I had a good time. And I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't seen family in a long time. And now I'm like, I cut friends off in the beginning and everything. And now I'm like, hey, girl, we need to get back to hanging out, and let's go shopping, and let's go do this. I told her, she said, well, can you go to a bar? Yes, I can go to a bar. I know how to drink water. And my doctor said I can have Sprite. So I know how to drink water and Sprite in a club. So yeah, let's go party and have a good time. And I'm getting back out, and I'm enjoying life.
That's
I'm
amazing.
enjoying.
Dawn, what advice do you give to people to get to where Tracy is?
You know, the excitement is amazing. Um, you know, I just remind them in the beginning that it's going to be a little rocky. You know, the road's going to be a little bit rocky. I try to, you know, I'm so thankful for patients like Tracy that are willing to speak to other patients, because, you know, the patients listen to the nurses all day long. But when it comes directly from a patient to patient conversation, it like changes their whole focus.
Absolutely.
So, Tracy, your excitement is so encouraging, and I hope that we can do a little bit more so we can get you to talking to some people, because you know
Oh,
there's lots of patients that just need that encouragement. Just your story and how amazing it's been and how you're feeling.
yeah, like you said, in the beginning, it's rough.
Right.
It's rough in the beginning. You just gotta figure out where you need to pick yourself up from. And if you're feeling the pain, just figure out why you feeling that pain. And I would just let them know, just make sure you intake fluid, not overdo your fluid, but just make sure you get enough fluid in.
That worked.
Yeah.
Wow. So how was your training? How long did it take, and what was the process from
I
the
think
time you got into it?
I think for training, I think we did training for, I think it was either 2 or 3 weeks. And of course, my husband did that with me. And I was happy that he did everything just in case he needed to know how to do anything and stuff like that. And the training was good, and learned a lot and everything. And then when I got home, my daughter-in-law, she's a nurse and everything and stuff like that. But my granddaughter, she definitely wanted to know, well, what are you doing? How do you do it? So I made her put on a mask, and she went through. When I got home, she would sit on the bed, and she asked every question. And I told her, this is how you wash your hands. This is what we have to do and everything. So now, and I told her, I said, if at any time you're spending the night and you see if I'm really not feeling well, but you know I have to get on the machine, you at least know what to do. And she was 9 when we were teaching her how to do that. And she knows now to put on her mask. And even now, if she spends the night, she'll sit on the bed with her mask on. And if I forget something, she said, Granny, that's not what you do. You forgot to do this. So she's letting me know you missed a step and everything. I said, oh, I sure did. And I have to go back and do it and everything. But you know, she's learned how to do this with me. And she tells me, she says she thinks she wants to be a nurse or a doctor now and everything and stuff like that. But she's been with me through this whole ordeal, and she cried with me. She laughed with me. And when the pandemic hit and I told her I can't see her because, you know, the pandemic, I said, because of my health, she broke down. She cried and cried and cried. She said, but I can stay there. I will be your nurse. I can help you, Granny. I got you. And I'm like, no, I said, you can't help me and everything.
That's
And so,
how nurses are
Yeah,
born. That's how
that's
we are
great.
made. So let me tell you, and I'll give you a personal one. So my dad was a PD patient, and I'm a nurse. I taught hemo and PD. So my children also were raised in the same way, where you know they grew up knowing what effluent was. They grew up knowing how to weigh a bag. They knew how to glove up, mask up,
yes,
and they knew exactly, you know, if there was a problem with Papa's foot, you know, they would go get
yeah,
supplies for him,
Exactly.
and you know, you need to sanitize your hands, make sure your mask is on, don't miss your 3-minute hand wash. And now my 16-year-old is going to be going to nursing school.
oh,
It
wonderful.
went on another generation in my family too. That's kind of how it goes. Do you remember getting your first delivery?
Yes, because I think we were in training that day and the delivery was coming and everything and stuff like that. And but they let us come home to get the delivery and everything and stuff like that. I have a lot of good delivery drivers, real nice, very respectful and everything and stuff like that. I have one permanent one now. He's nice, he's kind and everything. I have trouble with unlocking my door and everything. He's like, I got it, because we have trouble with the door in the back and everything. And plus that, we made it real easy for them because we have a room in the back of the house where my husband has his pool table, and it has a door back there. We call that his game room. So when they come from we tell them just park in the alley, come through the back gate, and just right there at that door. So it don't have to come all the way through the house to go all the way to the back. So it's a lot convenient for them. But yeah, my first delivery was good. It was
Good.
nice, and they're still good and nice and everything. And I make sure, and they always tell me, they say, you have the nicest delivery room. They said we just come and stack it up. You say that you're very organized. And my husband said, yeah, she's very organized. And one time they even messed up the delivery. And they were like, well, what are you supposed to have? I said, hold on a minute. My husband said she's bringing out her notebook. And I brought my notebook out and I showed them. I said, this is what I have. This is
Your
what I need.
inventories.
And we went through everything. And he was like, oh, okay. So he got it all figured out and everything. I write everything down. I make sure I go to the dollar store and keep me a notebook with everything written down. So when I do my delivery, what I do is I take my inventory and write down what I need under the have, and then I have need. And when they tell me how much I need, I put how many I need over there. So that way, when the delivery truck come, I know what I have and what I need. So there's no mix up, and we got everything.
And for the attendees, if you haven't done this yet, delivering and ordering is a process. It's a learned
Yes.
process in home dialysis. It's something you actually, there's a knack to it. Because if in the beginning, a lot of people feel like they have just had a house full of supplies dropped on them. I know my mother did. She had to put a tablecloth over it and put blinders on her eyes. I know people have lost their living rooms, their entrance rooms, not knowing what to do with these kinds of supplies. And eventually people find ways to order strategically, rotate their stock strategically, and store strategically so that it doesn't become a big um tripping hazard, I guess, over time.
Yes. And
Dawn,
when we,
have you
yeah,
seen some of that?
I have, and you know, the first initial order is usually very overwhelming. Because it looks like tons of supplies and I'm like, oh my God, where am I gonna put this? But like you just said, you'll dwindle that supply down and then you'll know exactly what you need to order and get it straightened out. Now that
Yeah,
will take a few months. But
yeah.
it absolutely is doable. So were you overwhelmed in the beginning with the first one, Tracy?
In the beginning, it was because it you didn't realize how much was going to be delivered. You knew you were going to get a delivery, but you didn't know how much it was. And then it did look like, oh my God, where am I going to do? Where am I going to put all this? But then after a while, then you know how to organize better and everything and stuff like that. And that's what I did. But what I was going to say, when we were going through training, I went to Walmart and got those plastic like dresser type deals. And that's where I
Right.
kept a lot of my supplies in, like my mask, my gloves, everything. I kept those in there. So that was a start before the delivery came. And then when the delivery came, they just delivered everything. And then I think probably like after a week, every time I would go in there, I was like, what am I going to do? This is just packed in here. And one day my husband went to work and I just started organizing it myself. And he was a little upset. He was like, you picked these boxes up by yourself? I said, look, dude, I move furniture by myself. I'm good. And I did everything. And then that's when I knew how to organize it. So when they come, I go ahead and take what I already have and move it to where when they come, because they were stacking new on top of old. And I'm like, well, I haven't finished these yet. These got a certain date on them and I'll have to move them. So now I've learned to, when it's time for delivery time, I take everything and move old over here so they can put new over here. So nothing is stacked on top of what I need to start using before I start using the new. So I got everything organized
You
and good. So
this is like the PD nurse heart in me is
Oh,
swelling. It's
absolutely.
you're reteaching everything in such a perfect way that it's
Yes.
it's so nice. It's so
Very
nice.
nice.
So you have a good relationship with your team and you really you feel very well supported.
Oh yes, I like all my nurses. Even when we get new nurses in, I like all my nurses. What I especially like about my nurses, based on the fact I don't like needles. Needles is my biggest thing I don't like. But when I let them know, and other nurses, when they're coming in, new nurses are coming in, they let them know this is Mrs. Donaldson. She doesn't like needles. She'll let you know when it's time to stick her with a needle. So even when we doing lab, I'm sitting there, I got my arm out and ready, and they're real nice. They're like, let us know when you're ready. So that way I can take a good deep breath and everything. So that way when they're sticking me, I don't jump. So they give me my time, my space, and my patience to let them know, oh yeah, okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. And then I'll let them know, like with the flu shot or anything in my arm, I'll let them know, I'm going to relax my arm, but as I'm relaxing, don't pay me any attention. Just talk to me. Talk about anything. I don't just talk about the weather. Let's talk about dogs, cats. Let's talk about anything. And I'll just let them know my arm is relaxed. My arm is relaxed, but just keep talking to me. My arm is relaxed. When I turn around and look at you and blink one time, that's letting you know, go ahead and do it. And I'm like, is my arm relaxed enough? And they're like, you're good. I'm like, so how's the day going and everything? I'll look and I'll blink one time and they'll go ahead and do it. That way I'm relaxed and talking to where I'm not in a situation where I'm jumping and it makes it worse than what it could be. So they're real nice and real patient with me. And I appreciate that so, so much.
You're their nurse manager, Dawn.
Yes, and I am so
Wow.
thankful to hear that, Tracy. That is
That
amazing.
is amazing. I like one
Absolutely.
of the things that, I used to talk about and I'm sure Dawn is always talking about is consent in medicine. And a lot of times people feel like they have the right to put their hands on a person without asking, without their absolute consent. And I feel like that happens a lot, even more in chronic illness. People are sort of just treated like bodies. And it was always a thing, even when even when we did hemo. Dawn's nodding because I can tell that she feels the same way about this.
Yeah.
It's sort of like there's a meaning behind having a patient give you their arm and their permission and their consent. That's a trust
Yes.
thing, and them knowing that you're not going to do it anyway. And I'm so happy and like to know that Dawn has a team of
I have
really good
excellent
nurses that
staff.
understand
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very
this.
proud, Tracy, that you have basically just bragged on them.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
No, they're
Hey,
good. They're very,
know,
very
you know,
good.
that they're doing the right thing when nobody's looking. You know what I mean?
That's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
That's a treasure in nursing, and I that should be absolutely commended, because I don't hear that a lot from patients. Really, I don't, and I should hear it a lot more than I do. That makes me pretty happy.
Even the men nurses are real. They're just as good as the women nurses. If I said, hold on, let me relax, they give me my moment, they give me my time. They all, and I love it. I mean, they're wonderful, wonderful team of nurses. And they answer any questions. It doesn't matter what I'm asking, they'll answer any question. I mean, and I in the beginning I used to say, well, I don't want to sound stupid. And they were like, there's no stupid questions, no stupid anything. Just say what you want to say, and we will help you and walk you through it. Answer anything you want to say, and that made me feel good and stuff like that. So yeah, it doesn't matter. I've been since I've been on dialysis, I've been through a lot of nurses, and they have all been very, very nice, kind, and wonderful, wonderful people.
That's great.
That is really great. That is really great. So I don't know, what would you tell people? Let's go with that. Let's go with that. You're like the most positive patient I've had on a webinar. What do you want to, there's a couple people in attendance, and then when we're finished with this webinar, it's going to be posted on our website. It'll be on the Facebook, so anybody can watch it whenever they want. You can tell all your friends and family to go to Home Dialysis Central Facebook group, and they can go click on it and watch it. And if you're not a member, you should join and be positive all over our group, because everyone will love you.
Yes.
But what advice you two, Dawn? It's really, professionals are on there too. That's actually how I found my way to MEI. What advice would you give people? You 5 years ago. If what advice would you give yourself 5 years ago? How about that?
One,
You
don't think
started.
you're gonna die. Think you're gonna live the best you can being on dialysis. Listen to your doctor. Listen to your doctor. He knows what he's talking about. And if he say go do home therapy, it's the best you can do. When you get on home therapy, listen to yourself as well. And if you find yourself in a hard place, call your nurse. They'll help you through it, talk you through it, and everything. They're going to help you. They're very kind and understanding. And listen to yourself as well, and you'll get through it. And when the doctor tells you you got a team, you literally have a team. I have a wonderful caseworker, a wonderful dietitian. I'm pretty sure I got to get on her nerve regularly, but she's wonderful. I love her dearly, and everything. And it's just wonderful people. But trust in yourself more than anything. And my biggest thing I found from it, if you yourself don't want to get the kidney implant, don't. Listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and listen to how well you're doing on just dialysis alone. As I told Dawn earlier today, a transplant, I went to
Not
the
for everybody.
transplant class, and it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. And until my doctor tells me there's nothing else we can do, it's not getting you're getting worse, then I'll think about it, and that might be my last resort. But right now, if I'm not broke, I don't want to be fixed. And right now, I'm good, I'm happy, and I'm living life. I'm enjoying life. So listen to yourself and listen to your nurses and your doctor. But most importantly, follow your heart and do what's best for you. And don't let nobody tell you what you need to do for you, because you only know you.
That's amazing. Dawn, what do you tell people? I know it's like there's nothing I can even follow that up with. It's so good.
I know.
I'm at a
I'm
loss
like,
for words.
Tracy has just about said it all.
Tracy said it
I would
all.
just encourage them not to give up. Give it a chance. Um, I promise you have a team, like Tracy said, of lots of people to help you.
Mhm.
Um, and we will get through it, and you will feel better. Um, there's not
And
any
Tracy's
barriers
looking
that we
forward to her
can't overcome.
Thanksgiving turkey.
Yes, it's just give it a chance. That's all I ask is just give it a chance. I promise you won't be sorry.
And don't let that first set of pain, don't let it discourage you. It'll pass.
Right.
It'll definitely pass. You just got to know, what did you do? Not so much as wrong. What could you have done better to get through it? But don't give up. Definitely don't give up. You'll get through it and you'll get past it. And then once you get past that, believe me, the end outcome is a whole lot better than the beginning. A whole lot better.
Once you get into a stable place, it is a good place to be. And
Yes, definitely.
that's awesome. Good. And how,
Definitely.
I mean,
And it
your
makes me
husband
so happy
is
that you
obviously
are
your
in
whole
that
family's
place
very,
right
everyone's very
now. It
supportive,
so happy.
Yes.
right?
Sorry,
Dawn,
Jen.
you have such a good team. You guys have to have a meeting, like a whole,
Oh, yes, I definitely got to let them know that
yes,
Tracy has
yeah.
bragged. I really didn't realize that. I mean, they go above and beyond. My team do. I have the best team ever. But I need to let them know that Tracy, what you said about really appreciating them, that makes my heart happy.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because if
It,
they're
it,
doing that for you, they're doing that for all of our patients.
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And it takes a special, I mean, it takes a different kind of nurse to be able to teach this kind of stuff and be able to teach it to so many people, and everybody learns in a different way and everybody connects in a different way. So it's really great when you have good home nurses who can do that and really are loved by their patients and like family. And that, we always said that in my group as well, like a family. And when it's like
Right.
that, when everyone is being treated like they're a member of the family, good things happen, good collaboration happens.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask, does anybody have questions out in the community? I haven't seen any. I don't think there are any. Honestly, Tracy, I think you just smashed this, and I think you just launched yourself a little career in motivational speaking. You should go talk to more patients all of the time because you're really good at it. And and I have nothing I can add to this. I wanted to give another shout out to Fresenius for letting us do this in the first place and for sponsoring us and for having a fantastic team. I wanted to say hello to Dory, who was supposed to host tonight but was unable to. She would say hi, y'all, if she were here. I wanted to thank Christy for managing all of the technical difficulties that we had earlier. And if nobody has any questions, which I don't see, I do not, is everybody okay with having a lovely night?
Yes.
Yes. I'm
Excellent.
thankful. Thank you, Jen, for having us.
Thank you. This was a lovely
done amazing.
conversation.
Yes, it great conversation.
Thank you guys so much. What a great night.
Well, thank y'all for letting me be a part of this. And
Yes. Stay
this is
healthy.
really tricky. I'm not used to talking in front of people. I'm a little shy, but like I said, I'm starting to come out of my comfort zone. So thank you for having me.
I would never
You've
know
done
that you
amazing.
did amazing. So keep it up. Keep it up. You have something special with that.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.